Hello and welcome from Create and Fly. Today is something a little bit different for you. I'm actually in the process of building a 1 to 200 scale airport layout. So instead of like showing you after, I thought I'd show you as I build it. I thought it'd be useful for people to understand what I do. I've got these trestle legs from IKEA. They're £5 each, so I picked up four. Because initially I wanted to start with just that one 605mm by 1220mm board, but then I actually thought, why don't I actually make it a little bit bigger to fill out my room, a bit more usage and a bit more room to obviously lay models out and add other areas in, which would be probably be a bit too tight on just one board. This would obviously mean joining the two boards up. As you can see, actually, the actual boards I've used are old layouts I've used over the years, and to cut costs down, instead of going to B&Q or any other hardware store, such as Home Depot or wherever you are in the world, I thought I'd reuse what I currently have here. Now, joining them up is a case of adding some kind of braces underneath to try and make sure that the join isn't as obvious as it should be. Underneath there you can see that that's where I've got to join the two pieces of wood. I'll show you how I do that shortly, but in the meantime that's basically what I'm going to be working to. And just as an idea of scale, here's a 1 to 200 scale JC Wings blank Boeing 737-8 Max, and you can kind of see how much room I've got to play with here. Not massive amounts. I mean, I could potentially extend this even further once this is finished, but for now I'm just going to focus on these two boards. So this is basically where I am with it now, and this is kind of the focus I'm going to be working to. So as you can see, these are old boards that are all stuck with old layouts on them, which are obviously peeling off, but I found this fantastic adhesive vinyl. It's actually, if it focuses there, concrete textured. It's really nice. This is from a place called B&M Bargains, if you're in the UK, and I use this on another test layout which I have here, and the concrete actually looks really good. Obviously this cuts down costs on actually printing this out yourself. This is £8.99 for a roll. I think it's 2 meters length, but the detail in the actual concrete texture looks really good. So I've decided to buy another roll today and see if I can lay these two boards out with this texture. Obviously I've added on markings there as well. I'll show you that in a future video. So before I get onto that, I'm kind of thinking about having kind of a road along the bottom there. Obviously there'll be grass and security fencing as well, perimeter fencing. I'm going to have a hangar area there, mainly for narrow body aircraft, but that's kind of going to sit there with an area at the front for the planes to come in and out of. And then I'm going to pop a small little hangar. This was actually a Metcalf 1 to 76 scale hangar, which I've trimmed down to fit more 1 to 200 scales, slightly oversized, but I actually think it works really well. So that's going to be there kind of for corporate jets to have their maintenance done. Next to that is going to be the offices and a car park as well, and I'm going to have some grass area there too. These will all be featured in a future video, but for now I'm just going to show you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to have some kind of taxiway there, and then the main terminal area. Now the terminal itself, this is a box. I think it's actually a box for a drawer to put your cutlery in. This is from IKEA, and it's a wooden box, and I thought it'd be perfect for the terminal. It's got a nice ridge on the top, and I'm actually going to add some detailing to the fascia and put all the air conditioning units on the roof. I'm just going to quickly pop to my little shelf of models and show you the scale next to a 757. It kind of works okay. Obviously it's just a small section of a terminal, but it's perfect for what I need. To the side I'm going to do a cargo area. This is a 3D printed building I got off eBay. So that's going to have my DHL trucks and vans that are going to park in there, and it's perfect for it. And I actually scratch built some kind of front fascia bit for that as well, which obviously I will stick to that, and that will sit to the side of the terminal to allow me to have a cargo area. Now fitting the boards together. Obviously this is a bit of a botch job, but I'm showing you how I do it. I'm basically gluing, super gluing bits of wood on one side of the board. Just this kind of, for those of you who are unsure about what I'm actually doing here, I'm actually just kind of building some kind of strengthening posts so it holds the board together and they don't shift and they're stuck together. So there we go. So those two are there. And I'm just putting some braces in at the edges just so the edges don't start to curl up. Just giving it a nice stiff, rigid feel. And then there we have it. They're the two boards stuck together. Super glue obviously bonds within seconds, so those won't be coming apart and falling down in the middle of the night and all my models falling off. So that's perfect. The gap isn't too bad. I think I've managed to kind of get it as close as I possibly can. Obviously once I cover the concrete textured vinyl over the top, it should in theory disappear, although there's probably likely going to be a little ridge, but I'm okay with that. So onto the unpacking of the concrete vinyl. As I say, this is $8.99, 2 meter length. It's adhesive, which means I can lay it straight on, no messing about with any double-sided tape or glue. I can literally unpeel the backing and start to lay down as I go. This B&M Bargains, as I say, in the UK, kind of one of these kind of cheapo Poundland type stores. I haven't seen this anywhere else actually, so I don't know if they're the only UK people that stock this, but I shall certainly be going back for more in the future if I plan to do any other layouts. So the first thing to do is obviously roll it out and work out how much I actually need. I'm hoping that I've got enough on this roll to cover the whole two boards, so fingers crossed on that one. I'm doing this kind of blind, but I'm hoping that it will be work. So the key thing is to obviously have a bit of overhang, so make sure that you don't miss out any bits on the edges. Make sure that it's the perfect length that you want it. I kind of stumbled across this vinyl stuff. It's just, I was having to wander around one day and I always keep my eyes open for model airport stuff, and I thought, oh, that would be perfect for it. Prior to this, I used to print stuff out or get stuff printed, and it just costs a lot more. Whereas you've got this one sheet all in one go, and literally this whole layout base layer can be done in no time at all, and it adds the effects and the oil marks exactly what you need. If I get a craft knife and just cut off the excess bit that you don't want on the edges and then put that to one side. Okay, so when we set this down onto the boards, obviously peel the backing off. It's quite tricky this obviously because you're working against an adhesive top layer, adhesive underlayer. So obviously it's difficult to kind of make sure you're pulling the backing off without it going back on itself again. It's all part of the fun anyway. There we go. Now, the best thing to do here is actually crease down the backing just so it stays away from the sticky side, or else it will just get all messy and you'll get caught and it'll all get a bit ridiculous. Now, what's happened here is I was going to edit this bit out, but I haven't anyway. But I've actually gone and put it down too early, but I managed to salvage it, luckily. And then what you want to do is the bit that's obviously away from the backing tape, just lay that down in place, and with your hand you want to just get rid of all the air bubbles and make sure that it's all flat. There we go. Now, the best way to work with this is peel back the backing as you're going and do it in stages. Don't peel it all off and then start sticking it down, because it's just going to get in a ridiculous mess. So grab both ends and just pull the backing, and it will gradually reveal more of the adhesive side. I'll actually zoom in on that a bit more for you, just so you can see what I actually did there. Let's get the camera. There we go. I was going to pop that down there and show you, but I think I'm actually going to hold it by hand. So you can see the backing sheet there. So as I'm pulling it, it's sticking itself, but as you go, you need to just run your hand over it, just get rid of all those bubbles. There we go. It's got a nice stickiness to it, adhesiveness to it, adhesiveness. So it should stick down. So there we have it. We have the final finished board there. So this is 12mm board, and I've trimmed the edges off, make it nice and flush to the edges, just get rid of the bubbles that are appearing, but they will actually settle, and you won't get any random bubbles appearing every now and again. And this is based on my last one that I did, so you should be fine. Once it's down, and you can't get it back up again. So okay, next video I'll be doing will be laying the grass down. As I mentioned earlier, it'll be there and in certain areas at the top, and just to show you that models do look good on this. So join me in part 2, and I shall show you where I'm going with it. Thanks for watching.